If I were to draw an analogy of the profession of journalism itself, the whole world has begun to get closer to the action on many fronts because of embedded journalism. That is almost akin to what we're talking about finance professionals, getting embedded in the business, understanding what is happening, and bringing really a first person perspective to the managers with whom they work. So that leads well into where we, as SEMA, the organization, is suggesting that finance professionals should move into the area of being a business partner. Okay? Now, gone are the days when you had controllers. The word controller is a bad word. It's a bad news. No one likes to be controlled. Yet one likes to be influenced and managed by a partner. And that is the role that the next generation of finance professional must play.
And this was the thrust of his delivery on the subject.
My visit actually is to change the mindset of finance professionals. To cut a long story short, basically finance professionals have been too engrossed in the detail, too much involved in their own backyards, rather than adding strategic value to the organizations that they work for. So when you're talking strategic value, it means more than just short-termism, which is perhaps one of the reasons why over the last few years the whole world came into this crisis it fell into, because of that short-termism. There was no long-term sustainable strategic value added to organizations. And that is where we see finance professionals able to add a lot more value.
He was less perturbed by the impact of South Africa's challenging new laws on the finance professional.
In fact, I'm quite surprised that it is so late in the day that South Africa is moving down this path. In many other countries, the Consumer Protection Act has been there for quite some time, and so has the tenets of the corporations law that you're talking about. And directors have been always held responsible. In fact, I do a lot of work with the Australian Institute of Company Directors as well. And directors have been held personally responsible for a lot of these issues. And therefore, in that context, they need to be advised appropriately. And that is another role I see finance professionals able to add value in.
Aubrey Joachim believes there are lessons to be drawn from the financial and markets crisis of recent years.
Unlike the past, perhaps during the Enron and WorldCom era, when the financial professionals actually did things which were untoward and not quite appropriate, in the last financial crisis, the role of the accountant was that they did not do anything. They remained silent. They failed to call the shots. They failed to advise the general public, plus the organizations they were in, or the leadership of those organizations, that the organizations were making unsustainable profits, that they couldn't, that things were not quite right. And therefore, following the change that has happened, finance professionals are now encouraged to be much more open. So therefore, in an organization even like SEMA, which I'm sure, just like in any other professional accounting bodies, there is a strong focus on ethics.